showtime.
Coming soon. Jolting tales of horror.
Creepshow. From the author of Carrie, The Shining, and Cujo. And the creator of Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. You'll scream, ghastly ghouls. Cringe at weird kids. And shiver at the doings of evil doctors.
This is going to be extremely painful, Mr. Verrilll.
Creepshow will grab you, grow on you, and give you the creeps.
No, this is going to be an entirely new experience.
Creepshow, the most fun you'll ever have being scared.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Hatchet Boys. My name is P. Rich, and today I'm going to be reviewing and discussing Creepshow 1982 horror comedy anthology film directed by George A. Romero and written by Stephen King, making this film his screenwriting debut. Yeah, George A. Romero is best known for his Night of the Living Dead series, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead remake, and Land of the Dead. So Creepshow consists of 5 short stories. Father's Day, The Lonesome Death of Jordy, Verrilll, based on Stephen King's short story Weeds, Something to Tie You Over, The Crate, and They're Creeping Up on You. 2 of these stories were adapted from Stephen King's short stories, with the film bookended by prologue and epilogue scenes feature a young boy named Billy, played by Stephen King's son, Joe King. So Creepshow is a homage to the EC horror comics of the 1950s, such as Tales from the Crypt, The Vault of Horror, and The Haunt of Fear. In order for the film to give viewers a comic book feel, Romero hired longtime effects specialist Tom Savini to replicate comic-like effects. And yeah, it looks great. It really does. I love it. So basically, this film, it opens up with a prologue with Billy Hopkins, a young boy, gets disciplined by his abusive father, Stan, played by Tom Atkins, for reading Creepshow, a horror comic, not wanting his son to be exposed to the comic's content. So Stan throws the book in the garbage. And this is such a great scene. He's like, you see all that horror crap? All that.
I told you before, I didn't want you to read this crap. I never saw such rotten crap in my life. Where do you get this shit? Who sells it to you? Want to know where this is going, Billy? In the garbage, right into the friggin' garbage. Now, you got any smart mouth about that?
No, it's any worse than the books you keep in your dresser, those ones under your underwear, those sex books.
Stan, you didn't have that.
Get him? Not only do I find out he's reading this crap, he's a goddamn little snoop as well.
No, it wasn't like that!
We're a little hard on him.
You see that crap? All that horror crap? Things coming out of crates and eating people? Dead people coming back to life? People turning into weeds, for Christ's sake?
Well, yes, I did, but I...
Well, you want him reading that stuff?
Well, no, but...
All right, then. I took care of it. That's why God made fathers, babe. That's why God made fathers.
I love it. You want him reading that? Shit. He's like, that's why God made fathers. So yeah, Billy sitting upstairs in his room wishing his father would rot in hell. He hears a sound at the window And the noise turns out to be the creep, the host of the comic book, who tells Billy to come closer and removes the trash can lids. And we see the comic book open, and we're introduced to the first story, Father.
I hope you rot in hell.
We're introduced to the first story, Father's Day. So, Father's Day, Sylvia meets her nephew Richard and her niece Cass, along with Cass's new husband Hank, played by Ed Harris.
Don't let go. Mean it. Not too slow.
So at the Grantham estate for the family's annual dinner on the third Sunday in June, they proceed to tell Hank about the family monarch, Great Aunt Bedelia, and of how it is an open secret in the family that she murdered her late father. So the miserably demented Nathan Grantham, who had accumulated the family's fortune through bootleg and fraud, extortion, and murder for hire. Sounds like a great guy, right? A great father to have. Talking shit to her, but it's Father's Day, and Nathan wants his cake and calling her a bitch and shit, like, and so it drives her crazy, and so Bedelia is driven into a murderous rage by Nathan's insults, and he's hit over the head with.
It's Father's Day. Where's my cake? You promised me my cake. Bedelia, I'm your father. You're supposed to be taking care of me.
I don't need you. I said I don't need you.
Bedelia, you bitch! What do you think I've got you here for? You're just like all the others. You're nothing but a bunch of vultures.
Happy Father's
Great. And in this film, you can see this marble ashtray in each story. It's hidden, but it's there. You just have to watch out for it. So in the present day, Bedelia arrives to the Grantham Manor. That evening. She stops by the family cemetery just outside the mansion to lay a flower at her father's grave. She's drunk and she's reminiscing about the murder and reveals that Sylvia staged the killing as an accident to distribute Nathan's fortune among the rest of the family. She accidentally spills her whiskey bottle in front of the headstone. Just then, oh, this is a great scene, man. It always fucking awesome jump scare. It always got me as a kid, man, because you're not expecting it at all, man, and you hear like going on, I want my cake, like just reminiscing back saying like why she like hit him over the fucking head with the ashtray. So yeah, and then it goes quiet, and it's the music that gets you too, man. It's because you see his hand pop up from the grave, and yeah, and it's just the music. It's so well done. I really love it, and the color of this, like there's so many like great colors they use in this film, and that scene too. Like yeah, it's like almost like red, and I don't know, it just looks really well done, and so yeah, Nathan's reanimated figure, like his corpse. You see like maggots infested corpse emerges from the burial plot, still demanded for his father's date cake he never got. It's so awesome. So he avenges himself on Bedelia strangling her. He proceeds to systematically wipe out the rest of his family.
So peacefully.
Yeah, he ends up crushing Hank to death with his gravestone. That's another great scene. Um, yeah, he goes out. Well, he sees Bedelia's car, and he goes and sees the graveyard, and he walks over to the grave there, and he sees the whiskey bottle, so he picks it up and goes to take a drink, and he trips backwards, and he falls into the grave where Nathan came out of, and then he sees Bedelia's dead body right beside him. He's like, oh shit, he's like panicking, and then the gravestone starts moving, and he's like, oh, what the hell? And then he sees Nathan's dead corpse there, and he's moving the headstone, right? And ends up falling on him, on Hank, and squishing him. It was a great death and great scene. I mean, and the music again builds it up. It's awesome.
Jesus.
Yeah, then he ends up. Um, so we go back to the party, and Sylvia is like, where the hell is the food and stuff? Mrs. Lambert, or whatever her name is. Or Miss Danvers. Yeah, that's it. Not Lambers, Miss Danvers. She goes to check in the kitchen, and so then you see, this is a great scene too. You see Mrs. Danvers' head hit like the window of the door, and again the music builds it up so well, and she starts freaking out, and then yeah, Nathan twists Sylvia's neck all the way around, and he also kills Mrs. Danvers, like I said. So now, as Nathan surprises Cass and Richard by presenting them with his Father's Day cake, Sylvia's severed head covered with frosting and lit candles. I love it, man. This visual effect is awesome. And it's a great way to end the story as well, man. It's so fucking awesome. He's like, yeah, it's Father's Day, and I got my cake. And they're all freaking out. But I love, like, how I said before, like, how they make it look like a comic book, and just like the lights and stuff they do with it. It just looks so well done. I'm going to say that over and over again as I go along about this film. Like, it really is.
Mrs. Dell.
Father's Day, and I got my cake. Happy Father's Day.
So well done. Anyways, now we're into the second story, the lonesome death of Jordy Verrilll. So Jordy Verrilll is like a backwards yokel played by Stephen King. This story it's not scary, it's just funny. It's funny to watch. I think it's hilarious. So Stephen King watches as a meteorite crash lands on his farm. Observing the crash site, Jordy gets his fingers burned when he tries to touch the meteorite. In a fancy sequence, Jordy imagines himself selling the meteorite to the local college department of meteors. Like, what? It's fucking hilarious. It's just, anyways, hoping that he will sell it and get enough money to pay off his $200 bank loan. So he's taking precautions. He doses the meteorite with a bucket of water, and while he dumps the bucket of water on it, it causes the meteor to crack because it's like still hot. So it cracks open and spills a glowing blue liquid. So now he has another fantasy of Department of Meteors refusing to purchase the now broken meteorite, resolving to try to glue it the house back in the morning. What's hilarious, like when he's having that image of the college not taking a broken meteorite, he's like, $200 for a broken meteorite? I won't give you 2 cents. So Jordy now dumps the liquid inside the meteor into the soil, but not before the substance makes contact with his skin.
Holy old Jesus! That's a meteor. I'd be dipped in shit if that ain't a meteor. Oh, you done it now, Jordy Verrilll. You monkhead. You monkhead. $200 for a broken meteor. You must be joking. I wouldn't give you 2 cents. Jordy Verrilll, you monkey. Meteor ship. Maybe I can glue it together in the morning.
So as time passes, Jordy finds his fingers being overcome by what appears to be grass. He attempts to call the doctor, but he reconsiders doing so when he imagines in another like fantasy sequence of the doctor saying, "These fingers gotta come off." He takes out like a meat cleaver and he's like, "This is gonna be very or extremely painful, Mr. Verrilll." Yeah. So anyways, now he discovers the increasing growth and tries to calm himself by pouring himself a bottle of vodka and mixing it with orange juice. Soon after, Jordy falls asleep and he wakes up. Yeah, he passes out from being drunk. So Jordy wakes up sometime after, believing the experience was just all a dream. But his hopes are crushed when he sees that the plant growth has managed to reach inside his house, as well as discovering in the mirror. It's all over his face and all over his hands and shit. He's got like a green beard. It just looks hilarious. So now he starts to draw a bath to relieve the itching, but he's visited by his ghost, the ghost of his deceased father, who appears in the mirror and warns him against doing so by telling him that the water is what makes plants grow. Yeah, no shit. But he's like, "I'm a goner either way," so he fucking jumps in the bathtub. And then you see him the next morning and he's just like, fucking no, like just covered in grass, and all inside's just covered in grass. So he grabs a shotgun and yeah, he's basically just saying, "Please God, help him," and he blows his fucking head off with the shotgun. So now, so after killing himself, immediately afterwards, a TV weather forecast announces that the moderate temperatures and heavy rains are predicted. So the implication of being that this will accelerate to spread over the whole, this plant growth is going to start surrounding areas and will continue to the point where the Earth may become transformed into an entirely green planet. Yeah, it's a good story.
Outgrow it.
You getting that water, Jordy? You might as well sign your death warrant.
I'm a goner already, Daddy. Ain't I? Got the stuff out of that meteor on me. And I'm gone. Ain't I? Daddy?
Please, God. Let my luck be in. Just this once. Please, God. Just this once.
And in today's weather, well, not much for the almost miraculous.
So now we're into the third story, Something to Tide You Over. So Richard, played by Leslie Nielsen, fucking hilarious. Oh man, just every time I watch this, it always makes me think of him in Naked Gun or Airplane. I can't take him serious, but he does play a good bad guy. He does. He really does. He brings it, man. He fucking brings it. So So Richard Vickers is a vicious and heartless millionaire whose spray belies his cold-blooded and murderous nature. He visits Harry Wentworth, the man with whom his wife Becky is having an affair with. Richard mentions that he and Becky never shared any actual affection, but such that it's besides the issue. Richard's point of honor is always keeping what's his, a rule that he enforces no matter what, rather than physically assault Harry. Richard ends up playing a recording of Becky's voice where she tearfully begs Harry to help her. Both men travel to Comfort Point, Richard's isolated beach house. Richard points out what appears to be a burial mound in the sand. When Harry runs to it, Richard pulls a gun on him and he forces Harry to jump into the empty hole and to bury himself. Eventually, Richard finishes burying Harry neck deep in the sand below the high tide line. So Richard then sets up a closed circuit TV camera and a VCR to record Harry. Sick fuck. He also brings along a monitor displaying Becky, who is also buried up to her neck further down the beach, where the rising tide is already washing over her face. Richard does tell Harry that he had Becky have a chance of survival if they can hold their breath long enough for the sand to loosen. Once the seawater covers them, they can break free and escape. With that, Richard abandons Harry and returns to Comfort Point, sipping on his cocktail and watching on both monitors Becky and Harry. He's sick fuck. But anyways, just before Harry's completely submerged by the tide, he looks directly into the camera and vows revenge on Richard.
Oh my God. Richard! I'm gonna get you. You hear me, Richard? You hear me, Richard? I'm gonna get you! Hold your breath there, Harry. Gotta hold your breath.
So hours later, Richard returns to Harry's grave to collect the tape. He finds the ruined monitor, but no sign of Harry. Not disturbed, Richard writes this off as the body having been carried away by the current. Later that night, Richard hears voices calling his name. This is fucking great, man. I love it. Yeah, it's so badass. So, he just bypasses it. So yeah, he's watching on his security system. So the culprits turn out to be Harry and Becky, the two lovers having returned as waterlogged, seaweed covered, like zombies. It's fucking awesome, man. It looks so well done too. It's great. So yeah, they want revenge on Richard. Yeah, Richard starts shooting them, but when the bullets have no effect on them, he barricades himself in the bedroom, only to find Becky and Harry already inside. Now they take him to the beach and bury him up to his neck too, where the tie comes in. And Richard starts laughing insanely. Sometime later, the undead lovers have buried Richard up to his neck. Yeah, and then he's like, I could hold my breath for a very long time. Then you see the tie come in. Yeah, it was good.
We want to see you, Richard. We want to see you. We want to see you, Richard. We don't know hope for you, Richard. On the beach. Come with us. Fall down to the beach.
Yeah, it was good. I like that one. So now the fourth story, The Crate. So Mike Latmere, janitor at Horlicks University, drops a quarter he was flipping, which rolls behind a crate under a basement staircase. While attempting to retrieve the coin, he comes across a wooden storage crate marked "Shipped to Horlicks University, Julia Carpenter." So yeah, and the date says June 19, 1834. Hidden underneath the staircase, he calls Professor Dexter Stanley to notify him of the discovery, and drawing Dexter away from his social gathering. Also at the gathering are Dexter's best friend, the mild-mannered Professor Henry Northrop, and Harry's drunk, obnoxious, emotionally abusive wife, Wilma. And she goes by Billy. She's like, call me Billy, everybody does. Oh man. And he has like fantasies of like fucking shooting her in the head with a gun. It's like, yeah, you get to know Billy. This is the longest story in the film, and I like how they build up the characters for sure in this one. It takes its time with it, but yeah. So Henry he has a fantasy of him shooting her in the fucking head, and then everybody starts clapping, and they're like, "Oh, nice shot!" Yeah, it's hilarious. She's really annoying, and she always insults Henry.
I mean, some of these so-called academics make the shark in Jaws look like fucking Flipper.
Wilma!
Your husband's calling you, Billy. Oh, God, Henry, what's wrong now?
Not a thing, Wilma. Everything's just fine.
Hell of a shot.
Bullseye. Oh, Henry, can't you do anything right?
The hall where the former where he finds the crate. Both men move the crate into a nearby biology lab where they timelessly work to get it open. In the process, Mike sticks his hand inside the crate and begins yelling in pain. The crate opens and reveals Fluffy. Fucking awesome, man. This scene always got me as a kid too. I always thought this was the scariest one, or the scariest story. Anyways, but yeah, so great. So it's like a shaggy. With sharp veins. Yeah, it looks so well done. Tom Savini created it. It looks awesome. So it like basically kills and devours Mike whole, leaving behind only a mangled boot. So Dexter ends up fleeing the lab, bumps into graduate student Charlie, to whom he he's like going insane. Well, he's going crazy. He couldn't believe what he just saw. He's like frantic now, and he tells what happened. While skeptical, Charlie agrees to investigate the professor's claims. The two find the lab covered in blood with no sign of the creature or its crate. They discover that the crate has been moved back under the stairs, where they also discover Mike's boot, wanting to measure the bite marks on the boot. Charlie examines the creature, or the crate, closer. The creature grabs Charlie and kills him. And yeah, it was another great scene. So now, takes the boot with him. So he's traumatized and hysterical. Dexter runs to Henry's house. After Billy leaves for the evening, he tells Henry everything what happened since the crate was discovered, and that there was a monster. So now trying to get Henry to dispose of clean up the scene basically, and seeing the creature as an idea, an idea to get rid of his wife, Billy Wilma. So Henry appears to believe Dexter's story to this end. Henry spikes Dexter's drink with sleeping pills and writes a note stating that Dexter had assaulted a female student. This brings Billy rushing to Amberson Hall, where Henry has since cleaned up the bloody lab. When Billy arrives, Henry lures her under the basement stairs, trying to waken the creature. As Billy rants at Henry for dragging her out there in the middle of the night and assaulting her, the beast awakens and proceeds to consume her. That's great too. I love this scene. Just the visual effect of it, and Fluffy, like the monster attacks her. It's great. I just love it, man.
It's easier if I'll show you, I think. Come on down.
What's this?
Oh, I found one in the...
Oh, Henry. Did he beat her? Well, how bad is she? Is she conscious?
No trouble. I know you can.
What are you doing, Henry? What are you doing?
What I should have done a long time ago! Get in there, Wilma!
Good at all in bed. When was the last time you got it up, Henry? Huh? When was the last time you were a man in our bed? Now get out of my way, Henry, or I swear to God you'll be wearing your balls for earrings. And I swear to God, if you ever touch me...
Oh, just tell it to call you Billy.
He secured the beast inside its crate and then dumped the crate into a nearby quarry. Watching as it sank to the bottom, he convinces Dexter that the creature has drowned, and both men agreed to let the authorities handle the disappearance. Unknown to Henry and Dexter, the beast is shown to be alive, and is last seen tearing and submerging out of the crate. It's great. So now we're on the fifth one. I don't like this fucking one, man. It's just, no, I hate fucking cockroaches. So basically, Upson, that's his name, Upson Pratt, is ruthlessly cruel business guy who suffers from like mysophobia, I guess, which has rendered him living in a sealed penthouse apartment, outfitted with electric locks and surveillance cameras. His apparent contract with the outside world are through the telephone and are primarily made to put upon employees. His characters seemingly influenced by Howard Hughes. One stormy night, Pratt receives a call from George Genron, one of his workers, I guess, I don't know, about the fact that the company Pratt International has recently so this guy took over his corporate takeover of the Pacific company. So anyways, Mr. Pratt, that the takeover caused a business rival, Norman, to commit suicide, much to Pratt's delight. During the call, Pratt slowly begins finding cockroaches around the apartment. Yeah, so basically, this one he just fucking kills cockroaches, and they keep coming back, and there's more and more, and fucking, as time goes on, there's fucking too many of them, and they end up getting them, and then the next morning, I guess, at the end, you see his fucking body just laying there, and then you see all the fucking cockroaches come out of his neck, his mouth, everywhere. I mean, it looks great and everything. I just fucking hate cockroaches. I don't like that story.
The Creeps.
The epilogue, the next morning, two garbage man collectors, one of them is Tom Savini, find the Creepshow comic book on the curb. They look at the ads in the book for X-ray specs and Charles Atlas bodybuilding course. They also see the advertisement for a voodoo doll that was briefly glimpsed earlier. Laminate that the order form has already been redeemed. So inside the Hopkins house, Stan complains to his wife that he is suffering from stiff neck, figuring that he must have strained it upstairs. Billy is got a voodoo doll he's putting pins in it, and he's like, yeah, he's just stabbing the voodoo doll with the pins, and Stan clutches his throat in pain as Billy repeatedly and gravely stabs the voodoo doll with the pin, finally getting revenge on his father for his abuse. The image of Billy jabbing the doll becomes the cover of the next issue of Creepshow. The creep is seen holding the same comic book, laughing sinisterly as the candles go out. So yeah, Creepshow 2. Yeah, alright, so my first impression of this film, man. Oh, man. I was a kid when I first saw this fucking movie, and I love it. I still love this movie, still to this day. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. Yeah, yeah, I remember it scared the shit out of me, but I would watch like this movie all the time, like after school. When I got home from after school, I would put this on, and my younger sister, I would always scare the shit out of her from watching this movie, but she ended up starting to like it after she wasn't so scared anymore. But yeah, I love this fucking film. Yes, Creepshow. Oh man, the artwork on it is just awesome. I fucking love it, man. Love this film. So yeah, yeah, the characters. I mean, I don't know if I should go through each story and talk about the characters. I mean, it'll take too long. But yeah, there's the creeper. Yeah, he looks great and everything. But I mean, when he moves, it looks, yeah, real fake. But I still like the look of it. Anyways. And there's Billy. Gonna stab the voodoo doll. Yeah, so, yeah, there's Stephen King with the beard. Jordy Verrilll. And there's the monsters coming out of the sea there. So, yeah, my favorite character. I'd say it would probably be Ted Danson as Harry. I like Harry. And I do like Richard too. Yeah, he's a villain, but I mean, Leslie Nielsen, yeah, Richard's good. And I like Hal Holbrook as Henry. Yeah, I like him as well. But if I had to pick like my favorite, I would probably go with yeah, I'd probably go with Henry Wentworth. Yeah, so like I said, I mentioned before, like the music, fucking love the music. It kicks ass. Special effects, yeah, Tom Savini, yeah, they look all good, man. They look great. I like the colors of this. The editing's fine. Yeah, I really enjoy. Yeah, the sound effects, the color in this film. Like I said, how they just. Yeah, how they make the colors really. Yeah, I just love the colors in this film. Yeah, the lighting too, it's great. So yeah, so Father's Day, Something to Tide You Over, and They're Creeping Up on You are original stories by King written for the film. The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrilll is based on King's short story Weeds, and The Crate is based on a short story of the same name. And creeping in keeping with Romero's tradition of filming in and around Pittsburgh area, most of the film was shot in an empty all-girls school located outside Greensburg, Pennsylvania. So I was reading, yeah, this, I read somewhere or seen something about the making of this film, and Jordy Verrilll, that scene where he's covered, where he blows his head off with the shotgun. They actually used a fucking real shotgun, like a live round too. They marked on the wall behind him exactly where the stuntman's head was going to be, and like above it, like so the person in that suit is like crouched down like that, and they have exactly where to shoot on the wall, and yeah, and blows his. So they actually used a real fucking shotgun and live round in that scene. Crazy, man. Yeah, what was this? So while he was all business in the scenes, Liam Neeson had a fart machine in his pocket during the shoot. He would let it go off during rehearsals, and just before director George Romero would call action, causing Ted Danza and the crew to crack up with laughter when he would do the fart machine. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, Leslie Nielsen's quite the guy. So there's an alternate ended scripted, but then rewritten for Something to Tide You Over. Found two policemen dropping by to investigate Richard's panically but true claims of Harry and Becky invading his beach house. When the policemen laugh at his story, thinking he's drunk, Richard attempts to prove this by showing them camera footage of both undead stalkers. Instead, the television plays his incriminating conversation with Harry before and during the burial by the sea by killing both of them. Richard protests that he's been set up, that this is the wrong tape. And the cops are like, oh, it's the right tape. All right, pal, the police answer. And speaking of rights, the film smash cuts from there to Richard's murder trial. He convicted and sentenced to death row. Another smash cut finds Richard in the gas chamber laughing hysterically, even while his life is choked out of him. I can hold my breath for a very long time, like as the scene would end. That's a real good idea. I like the one they have, but that'd be kind of cool to see, like him in the gas chamber, getting ready to go on death row, like be sentenced to death, and the gas comes on, and he's like, I can hold my breath for a long time, but I do like the one that we got. I do. I like that. Yeah, so yeah, do I recommend this movie? Fuck yeah, I recommend this movie. Oh yeah, man. I do. It's a great watch. you can have fun with it, and you can be scared at it. You can laugh. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great horror film. I love it. What would I rate this film? I give it a 9. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. Yeah, and I do believe this movie did pretty good. So hold on a sec. Yeah, the budget was $8 million estimated, and it grossed U.S. and Canada it grossed U.S. and Canada 21 million. Opening weekend, U.S. and Canada alone, gosh, $5 million. Gross worldwide, $21 million. So it did good, yeah. Off an $8 million budget, yeah, did well. Yeah. So that's my review for Creepshow 1982. All right, thanks for dropping in and watching, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.